Well, I think Greg has pretty much summarized my life until now. I do have one comment. First of all, I just met Larry a couple of days ago, and if I found out that we went to the same Air Force Officer Candidate School. He outranks me, but I out-age him. And it's wonderful to have that. Actually, I don't think I've met anybody here in Hawaii who went to San Antonio. So I'm very happy that we met. But it's interesting that I never knew that I would wind up in something law-related, much less marry, much less have a son-in-law as a lawyer. But in my later years, I retired early to take care of my parents. So I was out of the DOE at age 55, and then took care of my parents for roughly about 16-year period. And then I had the chance to do volunteer work. But one of the most interesting and gratifying was being with the circuit court in family court for about 18 years as a volunteer doing various kinds of work. And I never realized that that's what I would be doing, and then winding up here talking with two prominent lawyers. And I hope you will enjoy the experiences, and then later on share some of yours with another audience. Thank you.
Thanks, Laurie.
Okay, what did I gain?
What did you gain from your service?
You know, that sigh was a good sigh. It was not a bad sigh. And it took me a while to realize that the service was probably the outstanding part of my life. Not that I've led a dull life, but when I think back now, and I've only had the last, I guess, 10 years, because right after getting out, I had to look for a job. I wasn't secure in anything, and did things before I decided to go to school and get into the education profession. What I gained was feeling for the country, and at age 22, this was something that I went into simply because somebody else had suggested it, and she backed out. So I said, well, that's okay, I'll go on ahead and see what the service has to offer. And it was just incredible. It was a 6 months training at San Antonio, and after that, 3 areas of, 3 assignments, which maybe I'll have a chance to talk about. But the gaining was, first of all, they tell you, get in, you've got to follow orders before you learn to give them. That's what I had to learn to do. I learned teamwork, which I had none of in high school or college, because I was not a person in team sports. I usually operated on my own in whatever I did. So that was quite an experience for me. I've learned to rely on other people. Those were my 15 classmates. We had 45 women entering the class that I entered in 1951, and 45 women, and I think there were about 160 men in that class. So there was a lot to learn, because we had to compete with men. And in high school or college, I never felt any kind of competition, and perhaps that's why I never grew up as a very competitive person, more of a laid-back, reflective one, if I am anything. But the experience in the military is just incredible, because over the years it's brought me closer to wars, in the sense that I could understand what our people serving in a particular war was going through, and I understood military jargon. And I could keep up, I think, with the talk of armament and a little bit of nuclear war, and of course the astronauts. So that combined with and I didn't feel that serving country was anything at the time. I guess it was just something to enter and to look forward to. And it just took me a while to realize that it was service to the country, which I managed to accomplish in a short term because President Eisenhower came in, and at that time the option was, I still had about a year and a half to go, and he says, well, the option is you stay in indefinitely or you get out right away. And because I did not choose the military service as a career, I opted to leave it early. But I am very, very grateful for the time spent and the companionship and friendships made and the schooling that I received from the Air Force.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So why don't we start with Lori? And I guess the general question is, for people starting out in life or pursuing a career or trying to change a career, what advice would you give them about how to approach that?
For people starting out?
Starting out or wanting to change their career or think of what they can do in life, how should they think about that?
Particularly for people starting out, go for it, whatever it is, whatever your passion is at that particular time, even though it's very transient, you're not sure that you want to do, dip into it, because there's no time like your 20s, early 30s to do it. After that, you'll become, can you hear me? I'm sorry, I can't hear this. So. You'll become, each year, a little bit more cautious. I know the women become more cautious, I have. And if you were to tell me to go fly a plane now, I'd probably say, think about it. But anyway, I'm stressing the fact that do it while you're in your early 20s and still have a little bit, not a little bit, but a lot of guts left. Changing careers is another thing that you should do. I mean, don't stick in because it's well, I can't speak for everybody, I guess, because some people have to do it if they've got families to support or whatever. But do what you can while you can. I really believe in that. I did not start teaching until I was in my middle 30s, and then I had to go back to school to do it, but I did it. And even though my teaching period has been quite short, I still gained a lot from it. And it was the best thing I did, I think, at that point in my life. So, yeah, go for it. I'll spout off with something now for the 3 generations. To the millennials, I'll say, go for it. And by it, I mean life. To the boomers, I say, stay on top of it. And to us cruisers, sometimes known as seniors, I say, celebrate it, because we don't have much time. And don't kill time. Treat it as a friend. Respect time. I hear so much saying, oh, there's no time left, and this and this and that, or I'm old. Forget about old. Think of yourself as being aged. Like fine wine or an antique. That's the way I think of myself. I don't think of myself as old. Old is just, out of the vocabulary now. That's my final opinion.
Excellent. Thank you, Lori.